Okay, a couple of words about the GDP. Now, no matter who's in the White House, whether it's Republicans that are in power or Democrats, doesn't matter. GDP is a deeply misleading indicator. In fact, if you look at those numbers and really think about what they mean, you'll realize that they mean precious little and have precious little relevance to the actual economic conditions of our lives. Now, for one thing, GDP includes government output. But that tells you nothing about the quality of that output or of its relevance to our economic lives. Say the government spends $1 billion building 100 bridges across 10 rivers, connecting very small towns or villages where dozens of people, hundreds of people only live. So now we have 100 bridges, or whatever the number that they built, that we have $1 billion in output. That's great. $1 billion was spent and earned by workers and companies building those bridges. A couple problems with that. First of all, we all know that the government has no money. The government has no money. So if the government spending anything on anything is pretty much a risk, right? So we should be looking hard and long at any line item in any government spending program. So that's one thing. The other thing is, now we have those 10 bridges. What is the economic value of those bridges? You don't necessarily know, right? If it was a private enterprise, the thing that makes private enterprise different from government spending is, look, you're always taking a risk. When you're creating a business, putting out a product or a service, you're always taking a risk. But you're the one, as the entrepreneur, you're the one bearing that risk. You're the one carrying that risk, right? If you miscalculate, if your conclusions on the potential demand for your service or product were wrong, turn out to be wrong, you lose money. If you are right, you make money. That's great. Risk return. But if you lose money, it's you. Okay? It's limited to you, your company, maybe your family, but it's you. With the government, if the government miscalculates and spends money on something that nobody really needs, then we all, well, not all of us, because not all of us pay taxes, but the top 60% or so, 65% that do pay taxes in this country, we are the ones stuck with the bill. Okay? How does a private entrepreneur know whether what he has put out there, be it a bridge or a building or a service or a mobile phone, is valuable to anybody? Well, it's very simple. If he's making money, that means the people value his service or product enough to give him money for it, to pay for that product as opposed to paying for something else or saving. That gives you an idea, of how much value that person, that entrepreneur or company is providing to society. We see it from how the society deals with that product or service, okay? With the government, all of that is so obscure. You never know who really is paying, because we all are paying. And then, since it doesn't have to make money, we never know how valuable that product or service really is. There's no clear indicator. Profit, in the real world, in the world of private economy, profits are a great indicator of whether a particular product or service is valuable to society or not. So including government output into the GDP numbers and saying, see, the GDP is going up, or GDP is not falling anymore, it's a bunch of baloney. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything, okay? So just wanted to share that with you. Be very cautious when you hear those GDP numbers. In actual reality, even Reagan's 8% annualized quarterly growth when he was battling with recession in the early 80s, even that is a very, very indirect indicator of something. I don't know. It doesn't, the whole idea that you can have a number, one indicator, one parameter that's going to show you whether we're doing good or not is absurd. Okay, it's absurd. Something as subjective as economic value or economic, basically wealth, cannot be packaged into one neat number that you put out there on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis and tell people, see, we're doing better, or see, we're doing worse. It's absurd. It's absurd. I don't know. The recession may be over, which I doubt. The recession may not be over, but the thing is, for the what is it, 15 million plus people that are unemployed, the recession may be over, but it doesn't do much for them. So again, GDP is a bunch of crap, okay? Be careful when you use those statistics. Thanks.